Pioneer.
Yo, what's going on, guys? EJ bringing you another Lord of the Rings Rise of the War video. Today, guys, I bring you part 1. This is going to be full-on breakdowns of PvPs, formation commander changes and stuff like that. I'm breaking up into a few parts because I've done hundreds of PvP within the last few days to a week in the PBE test server. So we're going to be going through and breaking down a lot. I'm going to be showing like meta builds, all different kinds of builds. I tried to mix up and do many things. I ran out of my hammers, all 100 hammers and stuff like that. So I'm not going to muck around. I'm getting straight into it. It's all action today, so let's get into it. So I think this was my first actual PvP in the whole server. I scrolled all the way back. And as you can see, I was using pretty much a full meta build. I did not use Bjorn. I took out my Bjorn because I was testing out a Isildur. So as you can see at the time, I was using him as an attack build. So I was using attack. Unit attack gear on him as such with the skilling, as you can see here, and then the same old like Gandalf the White there with, of course, damage reduction, Gil with his evade, which I had a full set here, which is kind of an interesting set. It was a unit defense kind of attack gear kind of thing, where you get a lot of damage from the might, but the rest is from defense for your units, as you can see, and really good command, 622 command there. And then, of course, Dane as a big damage dealer with a full set there. So you can see I did win this battle quite easily. He was using pretty much near the same thing. Besides, he didn't have Gandalf the White. That makes a huge difference. So I ain't going to talk too much about this build because it wasn't... It's a kind of a meta build, but it just shows an example of how good a Isildur can be now with Swan Knights. I do believe I have some reports later on with reports using different units as well. So yeah, that was my first PvP battle. Rightio, so I just wanted to show you what happened when I mixed up units a little bit. So I had some small units on here, same build and gear and everything like that, but he put Gil in, so it shows just how strong, how I went from winning easily to losing just because he had Gil in there. I have no Gil-galad in mine. I put Bjorn back in, so there's no Gil. So the difference that Gil makes is still insanely strong in this. Like, he's crazy, like in the test server still. So you can see I got absolutely wiped here. If you want an idea of some of his gear, like, he's really good as well. Like, there's a lot of strong people in this PBE test, like Zenith level 6 there, for example, Zenith level 8 on Dane, and then we've got the Zenith level 4. So these guys are really strong. So you can see I did really well to beat him before, and still this is not a bad result against a super strong build here with Gil, and I'm not using Gil as well, but Gil is still super meta. Rightio, guys, so this build here was same kind of build. I took out Bjorn again, and I was using Gil for evade with my Isildur, trying to tank a little bit, but also trying to do the attack once again. Pretty much the same kind of gear that we used before, no real changes. Versus an entire full meta build, so you got Dane, Bjorn, Gandalf, and Gil, and like all really good again once again. So we've got Zenith levels here, Zenith level 9, Gandalf the White, that's a fantastic. So you can see these are fantastically strong, so I'm giving you good examples versus very strong people. And you can see it was pretty much an absolute tie here, pretty much, oh, he might have won by a tiny bit, but all in all, absolutely fantastic. Actually, I had 3 commanders alive while he only had 2 left, so that's another thing as well. So if we look at the breakdowns here, 264 to 242 damage. So this was a fantastic compared to, like, remember, my Gil is only R10, for example, but then, of course, like, my Isildur is pretty good, R5, and then R1. And when I say R1, I don't mean like that, I mean like Zenith 1, so more, I should say Z instead of R, but you know what I mean. So yeah, pretty good result there as well. So pretty interesting result there. Rightio, guys, so here's another result as well, where I was using tier 3 and put the tier 4 on Gandalf for he to be the tank. I didn't have the highest command, 257 there, but I had a Isildur build once again for attack, hitting 72,000 with the tier 3 Cavaliers. And then we got Gil with the evade and such, so you can see we did pretty good. He didn't have Gil here, so we did fantastically. He was using the Isildur with the anti-ranged unit, the Dunedain, so but as you can see, it was all melee, so I did really well there pretty much. And yeah, it was pretty much the breakdown of it. I won that one pretty easy. But yeah, we're going to move on away from the meta kind of builds in just a moment and show you some things different. Alright guys, so this was one where I was testing out Falgin like his buffing of defense for the dwarf units, and I was using all mounted here for the bonus. So I was using no tier 4, so remember I was versing some tier 4 here, which made a bit of a difference. So we had a isildur, no Gil in here or anything, but he wasn't using Gil either. So this was kind of stacking with Gandalf the White's White Council. So White Council was doing about 79 and getting about 59, so it kind of cancelled itself out a bit. So I was getting the full, like, max 90 that you can get for reduction, and overall it wasn't a bad result against, like, once again, free Dobby, quite a strong, like, using interesting units and commanders and that here. Like, yeah, of course, but we've got Zenith Danes and Beyonds and that. So yeah, good battle again, once again. My Falgin, if you want to see how it's built, was built like as a really high commander, 428, because his reduction is now based on the command stat. I can show you that right here, for example. So that's now based on the command stat. So it did pretty good, but obviously Gandalf the White helped an absolute ton, and doing nearly 80,000 damage here as my second damage dealer of Isildur taking out Bjorn did quite well. So you can see the breakdowns. I took a lot more damage, of course, but it all comes down to what units you're using. So it was a pretty good battle overall. Rightio guys, so now we moved on to something a little bit different. I was changing it up in that a bit. The reverse dictator here, so he had near full meta build here without Gil, but using a Isildur with tier 4. I was mixing up, so as you can see, my Gil was built for a unit defense kind of build, kind of some attack as well, like in 108 on the March Wardens, but I was more trying to test out my elrond here with full attack gear and such, the same kind of skilling as we normally do, you know, with all the buffs for the attack and of course the follow-up. So the same kind of thing. We had the tier 4 on the Gandalf the White to try to tank, and as you can see, even with this gear, not full attack gear, we got 50,000 attack from Gil and nearly 50,000 from elrond, and then Dane of course doing fantastic damage with 100,000 here. So it was a pretty even battle to say the least, versus quite some very strong damage dealers. You will see these mixture coming up very soon where we verse some meta builds. I was trying to come up with ways to beat the meta, but obviously still having to use some strong commanders there, so a pretty even battle there against Dictator. Rightio guys, so then I versed Dictator. He wanted to try out and test out Théoden because he had a bunch of changes in that to his skilling. So as you can see, he had his pretty high command there and that, because a lot of his stats now are based by the command. He had Bjorn as his damage dealer. He was tanking with his Isildur with unit defense gear there, and then his other damage dealer being there with Éomer. So I was using Dane as my main damage dealer and Isildur, getting the 70,000, of course Dane munching again like usual. And then we had really good Frodo does here. Frodo with tier 4 is fantastic, one of the best commanders in the game when it comes to the unit defense and tanking. So 352 command there. One of his skills was changed a bit, so this is now buffed by the command stat, so it does buff a bit of attack as well, of course with his defense and evade. So this was actually quite a really good result, winning this battle here against pretty good. Like Dane obviously helped out a lot, but 179,000 damage to 254 damage received there. So quite a very nice battle. I won't talk about this one for too long. Basically, we both just did a full meta build together and seen how our results would turn out. So it was just a meta versus meta battle pretty much. And as you can see, I won it pretty easy. I've got a lot better gear and a lot higher respect, so not too much to be said about that one there, guys. Alright guys, so this is where we start moving into the interesting territory. You'll see that I don't really have any big damage dealers in here, and I was going more of the command and attack gear and stuff, so I was doing a lot of attack changing gear changes. So as you can see, I was using my Kieran that is respect level 4 with a full focus build. This was when I tried to go with a healing build first off. And then I had Gil with attack gear once again, and then Elrond with attack gear as well. So them guys doing both 80,000 damage each, which was fantastic. We did bump into a full melee build, small units, so that helps a lot. And then I had like my Gandalf the White here as my tank. I didn't want to use other tier 4 because obviously having 2 when I play roleplay servers pretty much all the time, it'd be unrealistic. So, but a lot of tier 4 units are needed, so this is an expensive build for the results. But you can see it was 250 damage received with 24,000 healing to 220,000 damage received. So pretty much near an even battle there, guys, against 3 really strong damage dealers and a damage reduction from Gandalf the White. Here's just some results which shows you when you bump into a bit of a weaker army and stuff like that, these guys are not as high as level, and I think it was even missing some gear, so you can't take it into consideration. But if you bump into some weaker people, you can see that you can just completely wipe. But Scald is very strong. You'll see me versing him later on, with some really good formations. Alright guys, here's me versing Mo once again, who is using full meta build here, and as you can see I did quite well. As you can see, even winning this battle, he was using tier 4 as well. Of course I got 3 tier 4 units here. I still think you would have a pretty good result, even like you need the tier 4 on these guys to do the damage, like nearly 90,000 and 70,000 here, like all doing pretty good. Like the Eagles do really help a lot with the tanking the damage, even though he's using like the ranged here. We could change this up and put Cadders here. I think would have a bit less of a better result, even though these guys do extra damage. They're really good at tanking the damage away and stuff like that, even versus range. But all in all, a pretty good battle here. So 180,000 damage received for 225. So the meta can be beat, but of course it's going to be very expensive when it comes to unit cost. Righto guys, so I was using the same kind of build here. As you can see, I didn't win this one, but here we had an example of versing Thorundil, which was quite built pretty nice at respect level 12. We have an Isildur, we have Galadriel, who's really good, of course. We know doing focus damage as well as a bit of healing and of course madness. And then Gil, of course, is fantastic as well. These guys doing a bit less damage this time, it's 60,000, and these guys pretty much doing the same. A bit stronger battle here, but as you can see, pretty good. 198,000 damage received to 172, but he had fantastic healing there, 44,000 healing. So of course Galadriel and Thorundil together is going to be a really good healing match together. Righto guys, so here I was using a Falgin build with no Gandalf the White and stuff to see what I could do with just using Falgin's skill to be able to do the defense buff for my dwarf units. And as you can see, I was using all of a unit build here with Swan Knights on him. He was tanking really good. And then as you can see, my Gimli didn't do a lot of damage. I was trying to use 3 damage dealers here with Dane, Bjorn and that. But first, a full meta build here, we actually did win, so it was quite interesting. So Falgin could be pretty good. Obviously, I took a lot more damage because of my units and stuff like that, but 292 to 248. But it all comes down to the supply. So yeah, that was a fantastic result there, guys, in this PvP battle. Do note he was using all entire tier 4 as well. And I was just using 3 of the cheaper units and 1 tier 4 unit with the Swan Knights. I'm going to finish up with this battle report for today, guys, for part 1. So as you can see, I had Gandalf the White. I had 2 damage dealers in here. Then I put Gandalf the White and Falgin back together. And doing really good once again against a really good strong here. Once again, we've got Gandalf the White, Dane, King Aragorn and Bjorn. So we actually did fantastically. 176,000 and 342,000 damage received. So yeah, this was a really good result. So when these two are paired together, you're getting that maximum reduction, and it helps out an absolute ton, guys. Also, of course, having the tier 4 is going to help as well, because Falgin's going to tank a lot of his early damage from his damage dealers. But yeah, guys, I'm going to wrap up there. That's going to be part 1. I've still got so many more battle reports and stuff to go through. So yeah, keep an eye out, guys. That'll be out very soon. So until next time, peace out, EJ's out, and I'll catch you guys later. See you. Of the EJU.